Um, I guess first of all, congratulations. This movie is awesome. I just finished watching it not too long ago, and it's so captivating. As a director, how difficult is it to create that suspense and that connectivity with the audience when they're in a car for the majority of this movie?
Yeah, look, it's very difficult and it sounds easy on paper. When I got the script, I was like, yeah, we can do this. This is a car movie. Like, we'll be able to do it. But man, it was the most difficult thing I've ever done as a director, this movie. Not only to shoot it in like 16 days, but also then to be in post production and really work on the edit, the pace, and the connectivity, like you said. It's been a challenge.
Definitely, and one of the challenges about shooting in a car is the fact that the coverage is very tight, very limited. But with the tightness, you get the intimacy with the characters. What kind of direction did you give to these actors in order to get that amazing emotion out of them?
Yeah. Well, I sit with my actors for like a day each, and go through what I want out of it, and then listen to what they bring to the table. And then really when I get on set, I use the script as a guideline and I really let them have a play and use it as a building block because that's just, the script's just one idea and an actor might, who's living the moment might go, I think you should say this. And then you go, that's cool. How about you say this? And then they go, how about we do this? And you go, that's the one. That's what we're going to do. And I like that back and forth with actors. So I really just let Jamie and Barry really just be themselves in the car and really come up with this rapport that back and forth that they were doing, and it was a real joy to watch and help direct and help shape it on set. And then in the edit was then working out the best version of what we can present to keep it going.
Definitely, and like you were saying, you like having that improv. How much of this movie was on script, and how much of it was improv?
I'd probably say 60% was script and 40% improv.
Wow, that's a lot of improv. Uh,
It is.
it worked well. How do you know when you got that that line that you really wanted? Like, how did you measure when you wanted what's on the page and what they're saying is better? What measures
Yeah,
it?
I mean, I think it's just a gut feeling as a director. You just kind of know what's the best way to go. It's very hard to describe. But for example, like there's a scene in the film where passengers asking Barry, "What's your name?" He's telling me your name. You just make up something, John or Ryan, and then Barry goes, "Yeah, it's John Ryan," and that was ad lib. And that's one of the moments where as soon as it cuts, like all the crew feel it, and all the crew get jazzed, and you kind of have that euphoric thing on set where people go, "Hey, this is pretty good." So I think judging off that as well, there's a couple of times where Jamie gave a great performance, which was completely ad libbed later on in the movie when he's driving to the place. And again, the crew kind of gave a bit of an applause to him and that, and you kind of get that feeling that hey, it's connecting with the crew. It must be doing something because they're kind of there hanging, boom mics and that they're doing their own job. But if it connects with them, it must be doing something right. So that was good.
One of the difficult things about doing the connectivity between scenes is the fact that most of the time you don't shoot in order.
Mm.
How was this film shot? Because the intensities tend to vary a lot between different scenes.
Yeah, we tried to shoot it in order as much as I could. It was very hard because we're moving around. Like we shot actually at nighttime. So the crew by the end were getting very tired, and the actors, everyone was like, tired. We shot in order as much as we could. Rachel Griffiths, who plays the mob boss, she wanted to do her scenes last, so she could come in at the end and really sort of let everyone be tired, and then come in and kind of like give this new energy to it. So yeah, like we kind of shot it in that way.
Having the mob boss be female, I think, is a very amazing thing to do. What made you choose that direction? Was that always in the script?
Yeah, it was always in the script. And if it wasn't, my first thing would have been to change it to a female. So yeah, but luckily Tom had already thought of that. So it was already there in the script. And I was like, great.
What how did you direct her in order to become this very intense, massive character?
Yeah. So, like I said, she wanted to go last. We talked a lot in the pre, and she was sending me photos of how she was getting a haircut. She wanted to have this kind of like, really sort of different look to her where she's kind of like she used the word mole, you know what I mean? She's like she's kind of like this chick that's got lots of money, but she's still kind of like, you know, doesn't know how to do her hair properly, or maybe her, she's wearing, a nice dress, but she's got sneakers on. So she kind of like had a view of how she was going to play it. And that scene was obviously huge in the film. So we kind of blocked that out for like a couple of hours and just really felt the room, let Barry walk in, let her walk in. Everyone was like, just feeling it out and then come to a conclusion that we all agreed on. So it was very interesting.
Definitely. And another part of this movie that really captured my attention was the car. The car is beautiful. It's amazing. Well, how did you guys choose this car? It has a lot of personality, and it's definitely another character in this movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, just like casting actors, like we filmed this in Australia and we drive on the other side of the road over here. So I had to go out to clubs and people, collectors that had left-hand drive cars, and then we built a big bracket system of which car would work. And this one came out on top, and we all fell in love with it. It's like a custom build from the owner, so it was very yeah, it was cool. Barry loved it, and he'd done a film where he got trained to do NASCAR driving. So he came in already knowing how to drive NASCAR cars. So we let him take the car for a day with our stunt team, and he was able to handle it brilliantly and perfectly. And that really helped our time and our coverage. And I was able to put a camera in the car with Barry to drive for real, which really helped, sell the whole idea, which was great.
Definitely. As people are watching this movie, what do you hope they get their feelings going to be? What do you hope attracts them to this?
Yeah, I hope they watch it, and I hope it's the kind of movie where I hope people put themselves in the perspective and be like, what would I do in this situation? Like everyone's in this film's kind of between a rock and a hard place, and they're all taking their situation to the extreme, and it's kind of like asks a question of like, how far would you go to get out of a situation like this? So you've got everyone sort of going to the extreme to get out of their situation, and I hope people take it on the ride and walk away with those questions of what they would do.
Definitely, this movie is definitely a very intense ride, and it has a kind of cliffhanger ending. Are you guys hoping to get a sequel where we get to see more of this character?
I've been asked that a lot, but look, it's all up to the market, right? Like if it goes well, then if people like it and they ask me to do a sequel, sure. Like we've had conversations about calling it "Bring Her to Me" or "Bring Him to Her." So there's definitely a dialogue, but I don't like to get too far ahead of myself until it gets released in the US to see how far, to see what the reaction is. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
Definitely. Well, congratulations. It's an amazing watch, and I do hope it gets a sequel.
I appreciate that.